Hi, it's 7 p.m. Pacific Daylight Saving Time. I'll read some more of The Adventures of Rebazar Tarz, Nubook 4 by Duane the Great Writer. When you took on too much the first time with the rod of power and fell back, Crony took advantage of your confused state and drove a lot of fear into you. From being afraid that you were going to expose her to the membership to finally seeing you overburdened with trying to do everything yourself, she moved right in and sent her horde of devils on you. I saw everything because I was constantly being informed by her as she was training me to seduce people. I hated the whole confusing mess of what had come of my life. Here I was trapped with the king of all evil and seeing people betrayed constantly as a way of life and feeling so helpless to do anything. When I heard they had taken your friend Harry, I was hoping for something like this to take place to where you came here. I knew within myself that if they really would be able to get the information about the real guides, I would no longer have my parents as my main concern, but I would try and do something myself to disrupt Callum's plans, even if it meant my life and theirs. But then you did come. I have watched everything you are doing, and this is how I know these things. Even the Callum doesn't know what I know altogether. Crony knows certain things about what you are doing, but she just figures you will get nowhere like the first time you tried. But I see what you and the real guides are up to. It is so obvious to me. The beach you saw when we met is really here, but I was a mock-up, this surfing situation to seduce you into the trap that Crony wanted. She knows that if you do happen to succeed by some chance, you will have to face the music. The Callum music. What I really wanted was to meet you and tell you all that I know so that I could get the real connection and work with you and the real guides. This is where I came in along with Crony. The Femi beast that you killed was a machine that Crony controlled. The Callum suspected that the real guides would come after Harry Henshaw at some point, and so he figures that Crony and I would take care of you. When you jabbed the ears of the Femi beast, Crony contacted me and told me that you were coming my way and that I was to prepare something seductive for you. Because of the position I have here, I was shown all about the systems of all the worlds and what you and the real universal guides have done so far. The Callum God does not know everything, even though he professes that he does to keep his followers mystified, because he cannot control people's free will. A person's free will is the fine line between real awareness and unawareness, and so he doesn't want anyone to know that they have an unlimited potential in their real awareness. Callum is the one that invented the idea that a person has a soul, instead of what you are revealing about their real awareness. It is not hard to see through him, because what he has is based upon agreement, and without it, he is really nothing. He must constantly project his misguidance to others to bend their free will to his. He has gotten people to think that if they leave him, there will be some mysterious darkness that will befall them in their life. A total illusion of distorting the senses of so many. And so you have all the fear-based systems you know of. Just like the money barons of the earth and their printed stuff that is all based upon agreement and no real value at all, as their whole plan is to control the minds and hearts of all the stupid humans. Callum works hand in hand with the lords of karma, but what I found out is that the karmic lords actually rule over him, just like the IRS intimidates everyone even though they were formulated by the political people they intimidate. The agencies that govern and rule the earth and other worlds think they have the upper hand over people because they are the rule makers, and so they are deceived by the very fact that they are putting themselves in a matrix of prison by their own actions. They create the regulations and laws for others to obey, and they feel they are above the ideas they create. I have seen these people come across the borders of the material realm and be sentenced to sometimes hundreds of lifetimes in the most hellish areas. But, just like on the earth with the prison systems, some of these highly developed souls do wise up real fast and get out early and begin to try and find a better way to live than by using others. Anyone can change directions at any time, just like what I am doing now. My excuse has always been my parents, but it has come to where that no longer matters. Just like you would say, Duane, only what is real matters to me now. Callum is at the mercy of the law of karma, just like anyone in the psychic realms, and he knows it. You might say he is always trying to stay one step ahead of the devil. He knows that he will have to reincarnate all the way down to the earth one day, and so he wants to create as much confusion as he can and put it off indefinitely and to not have to think about when that might happen. I was shown the entire history of the formation of the astral and mental worlds, similar to what Rebazar has been teaching you. When Callum was given the opportunity to govern the mental worlds, he was thinking like your typical politician and what he could get. Well, he fell into the trap of his own influence, and he knows it, and so he is stuck with himself. I have heard that his brother Jot has actually wised up a little, said Shar. Jot has come a long way, Miss Shar. I am a witness to that, I said jokingly. Duane, I have learned so much from all of this. It has actually made me so much stronger than I could have ever imagined possible. I am no longer bitter, but I want to do something that would count to offset the ignorance and unawareness that is constantly taking place here and on all the lower levels. I have seen the whole process of when people come from the earth and enter the astral worlds and how they think they are finally in heaven forever. What a deception they are under. Then they are taken to the places that correspond to the systems on the earth and handed over to the unaware souls. Eventually, after a time, these same people are sent back to earth and wondering why they have to go back. So, what happens is that so many of them take on more emotional disturbances and then have to deal with them when they grow into their new bodies and new unconscious lives. It is all a sick and vicious cycle that is so subtle that you really have to pay close attention to see how it works. And with all the distorted knowledge that is promoted by all the systems of the earth, most people do not stand a chance of finding real freedom. But you will change all of that, Duane. You will rewrite history. I know it. I have seen the future. You have the real courage to do what others won't. That is why they chose you for the second time. I have known for a long time what you, Rebazar, and the real guides have been doing on the earth and what you are preparing. I will take you to some of your allies that are closer to the 3 mountains of light. Duane, I have waited a long time for you to come here, she said as she began to cry and then came over to me and put her arms around me. Oh boy, what a story, I thought. I am always amazed at what shows up next in my life. I really am living the Indiana Jones adventure now. After what seemed like hours, I noticed that it was dark outside. Then suddenly Rebazar walked in. Rebazar returns again. Hello, you two. I can see that you are getting along very well, he said as he laughed while Shar and I were holding each other. I immediately stood up and said, "It does look kind of funny, sir, but we were just playing patty cake," I said, as I had to laugh myself, and so did Shar and R.T. I know what you have been through, Miss Shar, and I already knew you are with us. Ha ha. It was just another way of getting you two to have a real experience together. Are we having fun yet? Said R.T. as all of us laughed together. Rebazar, Shar will take us to some allies that are closer to the Callum Kingdom, I said as I held her hand. That will be very good. You two rest tonight, and I will see you in the morning right before one of the 3 suns comes up. Until then. Oh, by the way, Miss Shar, you now have the real connection, he said as he waved and vanished to the outside darkness. Shar jumped up and hugged me and said, "Did you hear that, Duane? Wow, this is great. I have the real connection at last. This makes me so happy that I have to cry again. I'm so lucky that you came here, Duane. What a journey for you to take on and then end up here with me. I can't believe all this is happening, and it's happening the way I wanted it to. Well, it seems as though we were to meet at last, Miss Shar. I never know what life will bring, but I do know that it will always be so beneficial to everyone when the real guides are involved," I said as she pulled me to her with an embrace and kissed me passionately. "Sit with me, Duane, and tell me about what you are doing with the new presentation you have started," she said as she gently pulled me to her side and we sat down again. "There aren't any hidden devices around here, are there?" I said in a joking manner. "Ha ha, that is cute, surfer boy. I really don't think so. You are so subtly charming," she said as she continued to laugh and rub my arm as she was trying to dry her eyes. "I have learned so much since the first time I had the real position in my first presentation. As I look back at what I have been through, I can see that all the lessons have been for me to realize a greater position than ever before. So the knowledge and experience I have will benefit so many. Plus I get the adventure. When Paul brought forth his created presentation, it was right for those people that he taught at the time and the world in general. Paul set the stage for what is taking place now and what is to come. He made his way through the spiritual and God ideas to establish something of a real benefit to so many. Even though many of his students didn't really get what he was doing or haven't fully realized it yet. Because they are still trapped by Crony and Gerald, while the rest of the world is lost in their own lifestyle. My journey has been really fantastic, so much so that who would really believe what I have been through and what I know from it? It is great that you know so much about me. This gives us a head start together. I have to give special thanks to Crony and Gerald for what they have done and contributed so far, and how they will play a great role in supporting the new presentation in the future, which they are not aware of yet. The two of them will provide a real adventure and history-making event for all to see and hear about as the events of time and space unfold, especially now that you are a part of all of this. I really have to laugh at the irony of how things look to be a certain way from the distortion of the physical awareness, and how everything can come out to becoming really beautiful from all the hardness any of us goes through. It has taken you and me a lot of intensive experience to see things properly, to where we will risk our lives to live the real truth we love. I can easily see I was not ready to provide what is possible the first time I had the real position. But through the endurance test I have gone through, I am ready to have fun with the new presentation that will be all-encompassing. Ha ha ha. You are no longer the serious leader, but the new fun leader, Duane. I know that and I can see the difference. You always had the heart and the courage. You just needed a bigger view to see more. Me too. My experience is the same, and so here we are together at last, she said as she kissed me, and I continued. The new presentation has the all and everything position, and not just a segregated category label like all the other ideas of reference on the earth. The real universal guides planned everything so well with the appearance of Paul and his presentation for the public, but for most people they were not ready for the bigger steps into the true reality, but there had to be a starting point. Because of who Paul is, when he left the earth, the next man was not up to Paul's awareness and capabilities, which was proven in a very short time. When Gerald took over, he was the most ready at the time and would have been taught to handle the situation, but he didn't see what was right in front of him, and so became subdued. I had many experiences with him about what he was doing, but he wasn't interested any longer when I had the rod of power from Paul. And so the world today is in a morass of events from the poly rulers and the belief systems as they are doing in the planet, because they will not allow people the advantage of discovering their real awareness. There is no technology that will save the earth. Atlantis proved this when they destroyed themselves with similar technology that is on Earth today. The only reality that will allow people to survive is discovering their real awareness and expanding their being beyond the fabricated illusion that has been created by the Callum and the time tricksters. I will continue to read some more of The Adventures of Rebazar Tarz, Nubook 4 by Duane the Great Writer, tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. Pacific Daylight Saving Time. See ya.